Hey everyone in the YouTube world, welcome to Flying Wheels as well as my Flying Wheels channel. Guess what? I have an unhappy customer. And it hurts to have unhappy customers. I own a car dealership and I'm already behind the eight ball by being a used car dealer. Nobody likes used car dealers. So it's already difficult enough for me to make people happy when they expect to get ripped off. Well, most of the time I'm the one getting ripped off because buyers are liars. And I really try to be honest to my customers and I want to sell good stuff. Today, I have an unhappy customer and I'm going to tell you all about it. And it's actually not my fault. I don't want to take the blame, but it kind of fell on me and I'm going to explain the whole situation. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels. I'm going to tell you how I took care of this situation and turned an unhappy customer into a happy customer, also while protecting my rear. My name is Craig from Flying Wheels. Let's get going. So hey everyone, my name is Craig from Flying Wheels. I love to tell you about behind the scenes at a used car dealership because it's really not an easy gig. People inherently want to dislike a used car dealer. No matter how honest or unfaithful you are, we're all in the same boat together. So we sold a car in that bay 3 weeks ago. And we sold it discounted. Now we went through it, we were very thorough with it, but the customer wanted it discounted. They'll go get their own state inspection sticker. They'll take care of all the repairs as long as we discount the price to meet their price. So we agreed, okay, we'll meet you at X price, discount it this much. You can take care of any repairs it may need. You buy it as is, you're getting your own inspection sticker. Fast forward 2 weeks later, customer is really mad at us because the mechanic they took it to did an inspection on it and said it needs A, B, C, D, E, F, G, like $3,600 in work. Now, the problem with selling cars uninspected and then having it take to other mechanic, or selling inspected and then having them take it to another mechanic, is mechanics' jobs are to sell work. They sell parts and they sell their labor. That's how they survive. So when I just want to sell a car, a mechanic's job is to sell the parts and the labor. If they're just passing everything and telling you it's good, guess what? They're out of work. They need to make their money. So now they tell a customer it needs this much work.
Guess who's the bad guy? The guy that sold the car.
So being the owner of a used car dealership, I'm constantly putting out fires. When people are unhappy and they come back and say, Craig, you told me this thing was all set. Now my mechanic says it needs this much work. I have to figure out how much is truth and how much is the mechanic trying to take advantage of them for. So I never just say, okay, here's a check. That's not how you do it. If I just wrote a check for everybody that had a claim, I would be out of business. I need to find a happy ground, but first of all, I need to validate the claims. Now, if I said the car is perfect, if I said the car has been inspected, if I said there's nothing wrong with it, and then they come back and say, Craig, I found this much wrong with it, guess what? I didn't tell them the truth, right? I held something back or I misrepresented a vehicle. So I really need to make sure that I'm not only covering my own butt, but I'm also making sure that I'm not lying to a customer because, let's face it, it's used cars. And with cheap used cars, we're talking $5,000 cars, there are a lot of headaches. Now here's the other problem with selling cheap cars. Expectations are extremely unrealistic. That Volvo is gonna be like a $3,000 car and it runs and it's clean and it drives well, but it's not perfect. It has like 170,000 miles on it. There's nothing new about that car, but when somebody's on like a $3,000 budget, they're gonna want champagne on a Natty Light budget. Oh. And it makes it really difficult for me because their expectations are so high on something so cheap. Now here's the thing, 2018 Subaru Crosstrek, awesome car. I bought it, it literally needs nothing. It's actually still under warranty. It's so easy to sell. The only thing is, it's a high dollar car, that's a $20,000 car. I have to find somebody with $20,000 or that has good enough credit to qualify for a $20,000 car or has a large down payment and then I can qualify them for their loan. 2018 Denali, same story. But I sit on these cars a lot longer because it's a lot more difficult to find somebody that wants that specific car and has $20,000 than it is to find somebody that has $2,500 that's ready to buy that Volvo. So let's get on with today's dilemma. I'm gonna explain what is wrong and how I handled it and put out the fire. That behind me is a 2007 Nissan Altima, a really clean 2007 Nissan Altima. Now we sold it discounted in consideration of any possible repairs it may need. Now if a customer pays all the money, I will gladly take care of everything. Now I'm talking little things. I can't go ahead and replace every little thing and discount the price of a car because it cuts into the profits. I need the profits to actually pay for the business. If they want to pay all the money, I will not nickel dime a thing. I will do everything. Now I'm $500 into an AC compressor. The rear brakes are brand new. Tires have great tread on them, but there are a couple things that they found that they really want taken care of out of my pocket. Now, had they given me all the money, and had I said something wasn't wrong, and turns out there was, I would gladly take care of it. But the fact that we discounted it and they came back to me wanting things, it's double dipping. I can't discount a price and then give them money back because it's me discounting that price twice. So this customer was very adamant about us meeting their price, and they would take it to their mechanic to have them do all the repairs. Well, they take it to their mechanic picks it apart. He calls me very, very upset, and I don't blame him because if I bought a brand new car and then got a $3,000 bill, I would be gigantically PO'd. So I can't just take a mechanic's claim for it. I need to see it for myself. So the first thing I do before I say I can't do it or I can do it, I say, Mr. Customer or Mrs. Customer, I need to see the car. If you can bring it back to me and show me what the mechanic wrote up, I can validate it, I can verify it. They said no, they just want a refund. Now, number one in the used car business is CYA, cover your own butt. I don't do refunds, okay? I can do an exchange. If they're unhappy, I can exchange it for something else. But they are adamant about wanting a refund. I don't do that. But I said, let me look at it and let me just see what I can do to try to make you happy. So they complained, they were irate over the phone. They were good people, and they were good people at the beginning and they're good people at the end, but they were just unhappy, and I don't blame them based on what their mechanic told them. Now, what they forgot to tell me about was that they or their son or whoever hit something with their car. See that dent? See the broken hubcap right here? See this? See this crack? All these things they forgot to mention when they said, oh, I want to return it, that somebody hit something in the past 2 weeks. Well, of course, they told me, no, we bought it like that. We did not do that. But guess what? I have the original photos from the advertisement when I listed it for sale. So all I have to do is click on the photos from when I listed that car for sale. I notice, no crack in the bumper, no dent in the fender, no broken wheel cap. But it's not worth the argument. I'm not even going to mention it. That wasn't what they're here for. I just suck it up, know that I'm right, and move on. The reason they are here is because their mechanic told them it needs front brakes, that it has
a rotted frame.
Rotted frame, that's a big deal. That is a big deal. Now, we live in New England. It's rust country. It happens. But we looked at it already. We had it up on the lift. So now I have them come back so I can verify and then see what the actual claim was. Part of the agreement, too, was that it needs a tire. So we told them it needs one tire because if you look right here, the sidewall is worn like somebody drove on a flat tire, but that was part of the discounted price. They knew that it needed a tire. They were willing to do it. But their mechanic sold them on 4 tires. So instead of $150, they were sold on $600+ worth of tires plus mounting and balancing. So add that to the list. Instead of 1 tire, they now have to pay $700+ in tires plus a 4-wheel alignment. Now, when we did our inspection, the front brakes were at 3/32 of an inch and the rotors were in great shape. Minimum requirements in my state are 2/32 of an inch, meaning it's low and it's getting towards its minimum requirements, but it still passes inspection. But nevertheless, they want me to cover the expense for brand new brake pads and rotors because they got a bill for new brake pads and rotors plus calipers. Crazy bill. It doesn't need calipers. It doesn't need rotors. We can resurface the rotors, put brand new brake pads on it, or they can do brake pads and rotors, but the calipers are still in great shape. Now, all of those things can be repaired. It's no big deal. Brakes, tires, anything you find that is a maintenance issue, those can be replaced, so it's not a big issue. The problem is that their mechanic told them that the frame was rotted in 3 places. That is a big deal. Let me show you what I found. Now, remember, we live in New England, and this car is 15 years old. It's actually in great shape. This is a great looking 15-year-old car in New England its whole life. But what they did send me a picture of was this spot right here. Now you can see that's still solid metal, but they failed it for rotted floorboards. There's more. You'll see the subframe right here. Now this is normal, typical rust on a 15-year-old car in New England. It's sad, but it's true. Well, you'll see all these holes. There are 20 or more holes in this subframe from the manufacturer for weight reduction. If you look up here, let's see, right in there, you'll see a hole. I'm gonna zoom in on it. See it right there? Well, they failed it for rotted subframe. And when I said, no, those are manufacturer holes, they said, absolutely not, that is rot. And they said, see this? There's cracks in the frame. But in New England, this is loose, flaking rust. That's normal. Now, I don't blame these customers for being upset. It's not their fault. They're not car people. Their mechanic told them the frame was rotted, and it's for their 16-year-old son, so they have the right to be upset. I would too. I wouldn't want to put my son in a rotted car either. And this kid, the poor kid, worked his butt off to buy this himself, so his parents are doing the right thing by making him work to afford his own car, so he appreciates it more. And now, as far as they know, they just bought a piece of junk, and they're really, really upset about it. But here's what I did. I looked at it a little bit deeper, and I try to calm them. I try to de-escalate the situation. The dad was TO'd, like really, really heated, on the verge of yelling. So I asked him, and I said, if you don't mind, would you mind just going outside and going for a walk and cooling down, and then we can have a conversation. While he was leaving, I talked to his wife, and I had a conversation that was very polite and very cordial with her, and I said, I really, really want to take care of you guys. I'm not out here to hurt anybody, and I want you to be happy, and especially if it's for your son. I don't want to put them in anything safe, so let's see what we can do. I took them out to the garage and showed them one more thing. So I showed you the quote-unquote rotted subframe hole. Well, it's way too much of a coincidence that they failed it for the same exact spot on this side. So there's a hole on the driver's side as well. That's just flaking rust. This is the hole that they failed it for, which is perfectly symmetrical to the passenger side, right there. So I tried to explain, this is a manufacturer's hole. They're all over the subframe. They said, no way, our mechanics wouldn't lie to us, I'm calling them. So they called them, and no matter what I did, they don't believe me that it's a manufacturer's hole, that it's supposed to be there. So I stood firm, I held my ground, I said, those are supposed to be there. But because they're circles, because they're holes, the salt got to them and have expanded the holes, but it's not a rotted subframe. They don't believe me. They called their mechanic explained what it was. We verified the photos the mechanic took to what I was looking at to make sure I was looking at the right things. Now, number one, what I showed you on the floor, that's perfectly normal. In my area, we see that all the time, and that's in great shape for a 15-year-old car, so it's a little ridiculous that that was failed for that. So what I did is look up a subframe, a replacement subframe from Nissan. It was only $199, and guess what else? Those holes were there on the original new subframe. So I tried to show the customer. That cooled them down a little bit more, but they're still upset because that really, really heated them up, and now they're upset about the brakes and the tires, and they told me the wipers didn't work. So I checked the wipers work, but they said the washer doesn't work. Now, you know what? A washer pump is $40. Front brake pads, probably another $40. So to calm them down, I said, you know what? I'll take care of the brake pads, and I'll take care of the washer pump. I can't do this because it's supposed to be there, but I'll take care of the brake pads and the washer pump. I'll cover all the labor if you guys just pay for the parts. It'll probably cost you $100 total, and I'll do it all for you, and it would probably cost you $400 if you were to pay your mechanic to do it. So I de-escalated the situation, and I offered to take care of things on my dime and have them cover the parts. Now, it really doesn't cost me that much. I mean, it costs me my time, it costs me my shop hours, it does cost money to run this business, but to make a customer happy in the long run and cool everything down and de-escalate a situation, well worth me taking care of customers for this. And then you know what? I turned a negative into a positive and then go back to their customer with the photos of the new subframe and show them that those are supposed to be there and that we repaired certain things that their mechanic said needed on my own dime. So all is good. So like I had said, you want to always make sure you cover your butt. You never know where things are going to end up. I have very, very rarely, I think in the entire 15 years of doing this or longer, I've been to court once, maybe twice, probably once. And it's just because everybody's so happy. But you know what? It got dismissed because I covered my butt. So speaking of covering my butt, I now have the customer here, right? I now have the car here, right? So I take photos of their claims and I show on video, these are manufactured holes. They're supposed to be there. That way, if it ever does go to court and the claim is he sold me a car with a rotted frame, not only do I have all my paperwork, but I have photos of the new subframe with those holes there, and I can show them the existing frame with the same holes there. So everything's always covering your butt. So if the car is here, I now have the opportunity to look at it myself and see what's wrong with it, and then photograph anything that they say may or may not be wrong so I can defend myself later on. Hopefully that never happens, but you never know. Again, cover your butt. Now, there is a lot more to it than that because I sold that car as is with no warranty, but guess what I just did? I warrantied the car. So I voided my no warranty by adding a warranty, which means I just warrantied that car And where is the line drawn? If I warrantied that, when is the warranty expired? Because I just did an implied warranty by warranting that car. I'm going to take you in the office and show you how I take care of these situations. Now, it really is a case-by-case basis. These people were really nice people. I've worked with some really difficult people that I took care of that I really shouldn't have. These were nice people and they deserve to be taken care of, so I'm glad to do it. So take it on a case-by-case basis. Some people deserve it. Some people think they deserve everything and deserve nothing, so use your own judgment. But here's how I took care of the situation after the fact. When I said CYA, cover your rear, you have to make sure you get all your paperwork up front. Now, I sold the car as is with no warranties, expressed or implied. I get all that paperwork done. They declined the state inspection because they were having their own mechanic do an inspection sticker, so I did a decline on an inspection form, which is an unsafe motor vehicle form in New Hampshire. I did everything. So I have to do nothing for these customers legally. I'm not obligated to do anything because I got all of my ducks lined up at the sale and they signed an initial, then I read everything aloud. But that's not how I want to take care of them. They're good people and I want to make sure they get taken care of. So because I had said we sold it as is with no warranty, and now we gave them a warranty, I have to make sure they acknowledge that the car still has no warranty. Hence, the goodwill and faith bill after sale. And you can read, and I always add, and I'm going to summarize the whole thing, that the dealer and seller is covering the labor costs to replace the front brake pads and charge the AC and the washer pump. The customer will be responsible to pay for the parts. Work is being completed by Flying Wheels, and the buyer is responsible for all other repairs and costs moving forward. So they're responsible to pay for everything later on when they have to do any type of maintenance down the road. The vehicle was sold as is with no dealer warranty or guarantee expressed or implied. The repairs have been complete, and a copy of the repair order work has been provided to the purchaser as in goodwill and faith only, and the vehicle still has no warranty. And then I sign it, and then they sign it, and then they pay me for their part. So there are a few lessons here. Number one, treat the people that deserve to be treated well. Being a car dealer, again, we're already behind the 8 ball. People are expecting to get taken advantage of. They already don't like you. So try to be on the other side of that. Try to take care of your customers. Now, when somebody wants something for free, that's tough. And it is a case-by-case basis, because if somebody gives me all the money, I will gladly take care of things that I might have missed. But if somebody really beats me up, I might not have the money to put into that car. So it depends on the situation and it depends on the terms of sale. But keep in mind, we're all people, we're all humans. We want to be respectful, and if you put out good, you get back good. If they're good to me, I want to be good to them. And if I put out good to them, hopefully they'll be good back to me. And I get to see them in the future when their daughter needs their car 2 years from now. The most important thing though, is that you cover your butt. Always. We covered our butt at the beginning of the sale, and we covered our butt at the end of the sale, also while taking care of the customer. So you don't ever want to get taken advantage of. I have to do nothing, which is a great feeling, because then you can pick and choose each scenario on how you're going to handle it based on how the customer is and how the transaction went at the beginning and after sale. We sell a lot of great cars. Very rarely does anything slip through the cracks. Nothing slipped through the crack in that Altima. We were up front, but their mechanic threw them askew and really upset them, and I have to diffuse the situation and reassure them that they did buy a good car, that it is safe to put their son in, and they can be happy in the long run. Just by me taking care of them goes a long way for them and for me down the road. I hope this was helpful. If it was, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up down below. Make sure to subscribe if you have not subscribed. Otherwise, I always appreciate it. Have a great day. Adios.